Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Nerd Closet. Previously, we talked about easy costumes and where to find your different costume pieces. In this episode, we're going to take a look at medium level costumes. Let's begin by looking at what constitutes a medium costume. Of course, everyone's list will differ based on their own skill level, but a good rule of thumb is to look at the detailing of a costume. How many pieces make up the costume? Are there important patterns or symbols? If the character has a very specific look or shape to their clothing that might require you to break out your sewing gear, then it's probably a medium costume. Just like with easy costumes, there are several different ways to approach the more complex costumes. Each of the points that we will be covering vary on the level of skill required. So even if you don't know how to sew, there is still an avenue available to you. So let's talk about commercial patterns. Because some fandoms aren't as mainstream as the big budget summer movies, you might think that commercial patterns don't have anything to offer you. But take a look at some of these patterns. The whole costume might not be anything like your desired product, but maybe the shape is similar, or just one part is perfect for your costume. On the back of each package is a small diagram of the costume. You can also look on the pattern maker's website for this diagram. Using this diagram, you can match your costume photo to the pattern's flat sketches. The difficult part is also the fun part. In order to be able to recognize the garment's shape, you need to be familiar with every detail of the costume. Data can of course be gathered through watching or playing the source material, but additional materials like figures and art books are a great help to cosplayers. So whenever someone is complaining that you are hogging the TV or the computer, just tell them that you're doing research. Which leads us into example time. This is the second costume that I ever made by myself. Using a combination of two different patterns and some store-bought clothes, I was able to create a fun Edward Elric costume. With some costumes, you might get lucky and be able to find a pattern that, with the right colored fabric, is just like the costume you're looking for. Do you like Hetalia? Because I do. How about BioShock or Assassin's Creed? There are historically inspired costume patterns out there that can help you. And if you are looking to make a costume from the big named movies, pattern manufacturers almost always have that costume covered. But maybe you're looking for a more unique look that a commercial pattern just doesn't seem to match. Something you can try is, rather than making the whole garment shown on the pattern's package, you can leave out panels from the pattern to create a completely different garment. Using a pattern I was already familiar with, I examined the different pieces of the pattern provided and removed the sections that I didn't need to create a cosplay of Rinoa from Final Fantasy VIII. A great way to look at this technique is to think of the pattern pieces as puzzle pieces. As long as the pieces match up with each other, or the garment can function properly without a piece, you are one step closer to creating that unique look. And if you aren't familiar with using patterns, this technique also works on store-bought clothes. The best way to mix and match with pre-made clothes is to work from the seams. This gives you a visible line to work from, and if you mess up, it's easier to undo your work. By combining various altered clothes, you have a plethora of combinations available to you, from the simple to the complex. But what if you don't have the budget, time, or sewing skills that some full costumes require? Don't let that get you down. You can always put a unique spin on a costume idea. For example, don't have the money for a full Iron Man costume? Why not Iron Chef Man? Or Master Chef? How about Luke Skywalker, Texas Ranger? Maybe you're looking for a good comedy costume that will have everybody rolling in the convention halls. How about the Creeper Sweeper? It's a creeper with a broom. Creeper Sweeper. Okay, maybe not so much. The point is, your only limit is your own imagination. Go nuts! And there you go. 3 ways to create the costumes of your favorite characters. There are many more ways, but now I'm passing the baton on to you. Go explore and experiment. Join us next time when we start a new series looking at fabric, patterns, and construction for beginners. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will tune in to the next episode. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below, or you can send them to our email address. Don't forget to check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr pages. And if you have a cosplay story that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear it. If you'd like to check out some of our other videos, then you can click some of the links provided here.